Hello YouTube, back again, recording our second video of this series in first playthroughs of the new Niji songs. Next up is To Be Yourself, Kasumi's solo. Um, Voltage to S rank on advanced, 7.837 million. Overall song gimmick, non-first year units lose 50% base skill activation rate. Is it cleansable? No. So this is saying to me, build a first year frontline. Now we have two note gimmicks here, both of which happen twice. The first one, if hit cool cards, gain a 20% crit chance for the next 10 notes. Then our second one, which is if hit cool cards, gain 20% skill activation chance for 10 notes. Not the biggest appeal gimmicks, not song breaking or anything like that, but you know, we do have a couple of appeal chances. First two, gain 360k voltage and 283k voltage, with Niji cards gaining a 30% base appeal increase. Then we have appeal chance number 3. Finish the AC with 80% stamina or more. Niji cards gaining a 30% base skill activation rate here. AC 4, 524k voltage. Again, Niji cards get 30% base appeal increase. And the final AC, finish the AC with 70% max stamina or more. 826 damage per note. So again, we can basically hold to how we built for Break the System. Now, if we go into the song here and we look at the team that we just used for Break the System on the main account, we can basically keep the same thing. Basically. There are going to have to be a couple of more changes, slight changes to the way we have our teams built. Most notably, the stamina ones. And keeping our stamina up is going to be a big thing. We are going to have to find a first year that allows us to maintain our stamina. Now, there are a couple, right? For those of you that scouted Fest banners early, you have some pretty good options. Right, your first option, and probably my favorite option for this, as far as keeping your stamina in the green, is First Fest Ruby. First Fest Ruby is one of the best, big chunk stamina healers that the game has to offer. And with a large damage per note total, even if Ruby does activate a little bit on the lower side, you should still be able to maintain yourself in the green. Other options would be First Fest Maru, which is right here. Because of the attribute, Twilight Demon Yohane would be another option for you as well. As far as the Muse girls go, having like an initial Pana in your main front line would be okay. The only issue is there's no way for her to heal you and to basically help you pass those troublesome stamina ACs. So I would much rather have a stamina healing tap active card than a shielder, which is why I prefer Ruby in this spot. Now, for me, when it comes to the stamina heal, the maximum stamina parts of the song, because the Niji cards get a buff, even if I am going to lose a little bit of voltage, I am going to want to run, for this account anyway, Sweet's Deco Ayumu which is my highest limit break stamina healer of Niji cards. And surprisingly enough, Signal Rena, the first Rena you are, because she's at max limit break. The gimmick is only Niji card skill activations get a rate up. It doesn't matter which type of Niji card it is, whether it's an SP type in Signal Rena. If you happen to have Neuro Setsuna, who is an SK type, she works as well. So it just really depends on your card pool. Again, I do want to keep Nico over here. So keeping her in with these two girls is going to be fine. Now for our front line, to finish our front line, let's go ahead and use Veggie Ohane. And I do want to stay on attribute. The first years, you know, as much as like I would want to grab like a first Festine or something, I might actually be better suited running like a Steam Maiden Maru. So even though my Steam Maiden Maru is only limit break 2, you know, you can easily fix this with accessories. You know, in our first song, we were running 2 chokers. Now, because we basically only have 1 max limit broken card, you know, we can actually go back to utilizing maybe only, say, 1 choker. Probably the best idea, though, would be to just take all of the chokers out and just run triple broach. Now, the other thing I can do is we can take out this initial Ellie from the last time, and we can put in another appeal booster to help boost our front lines. And not only our front lines too, but our back lines as well, right? We're running 2 guard cards and a max limit break SP type stamina healer. All 3 of which don't really have great appeal value, so any appeal boosting here is going to be greatly appreciated. Now, again, if you're having issues as far as scoring and you are tending to use a single strategy composition outside of, let's say, you know, the 2 stamina ACs, feel free to go for guests like Party Shioriko, like First Fest Kanan, like Second Fest Yo, you know, some of these more consistent appeal boosters, and just make sure that you're looking for the best insights that you can. If you're running an all cool frontline for this song, you know, you can look for, you know, some of the cards that maybe have, instead of same strategy, same attributes or same years or things of that nature. Now, unfortunately, I don't have many great scoring Niji cards that would stay on attribute, right? The best card here would be Party Shioriko, but I unfortunately don't have her. So I'm having to make do with what I have. I'm basically ignoring the intra AC buffs and am just worrying about the I'm only worrying about staying on attribute and the overall song gimmick, which is the 50% decrease in base skill activation rate. Now, this song is a lot easier than Mijuku Dreamer in the sense that you don't have to deal with a lot of these, like, burst damage stuff. But, you know, burst damage and having to heal really, really quickly. So you don't necessarily need to go to a triple guard backline. Um, but if you are having issues with your stamina because of the damage per note and stuff like that, you may want to think about, you know, maybe switching, you know, and having a Niji healing backline versus you know, filling it in with appeal boosters and stuff. And, you know, as you see, I barely passed that song with the max limit break Veggie Yohane and a limit break 2 Steam Maiden Maru with triple broaches. So scoring wise, even though the song itself doesn't have an overall gimmick that decreases appeal, it is going to be, it feels like it's going to be a little bit tougher unless you decide to run off attribute cards like, say, a second Fesidine or a second Fest Maru, and you basically ignore the attribute match bonus. But yeah, you know, there are many ways you can build this song, and, you know, should be an easy clear for you for 10 free gems. And now we'll go on to the alt account. Hello, YouTube. Here we are on the alt account. We're playing through To Be Yourself, Kasumi solo, and one of the biggest changes I have to make for this particular song is the sustain slot. I am now running Twilight Demon Yohane in the spot of Second Fest Ellie. Now, even though Second Fest Ellie has 9,500 more base appeal than Twilight Demon Yohane, the entire reason for running this card is that overall song gimmick of non-first years lose 50% base skill activation chance, which means, right, with Ellie being a third year and this particular song dealing 826 damage, I need to find a way to keep my stamina in the green. And my highest appeal first year healer is Twilight Demon Yohane, who luckily for me happens to be on attribute. Now, the next best option when it comes to a first year sustain card, we actually have to go quite a ways down before we get to her. And that particular card is Second Fest Pana. Now, I also have Second Fest Shioriko that I could use, but as you can see right here, it's Limit Break 0, and it also has no insights on her. So it does make it much, much more difficult. Our backline has changed a little bit now too, because we don't have to worry about skill ACs. We can go full bore with appeal boosting. So we still have Initial Kanon, Checkmate Rina. We have Magical Time Nozomi, Initial Kotori, Forest Fairy Ellie, and Fest Emma. And for this particular song, the harder parts of the song are going to be dealing with the lack of skill activation rate. If you are blessed enough to have First Fest Kanon, Second Fest Setsuno, you can basically power through and not have to worry about them activating their tap active skills so much. But the most important slot is going to be your sustain card. You need to have, you know, some sort of first year healer to be able to deal with the song, because this is still a fairly high damaging song at 826 damage per note. So if you're missing out on, like, you know, even some of the better appeal first year healers, Spotlight Kasumi is another one that comes to mind, who is also on attribute. You know, the main focus over anything should be towards making sure you have that first year. If you don't, it is going to be a lot more difficult. And if you actually don't have a first year healer, I would actually suggest skipping this song for now, until you get a halfway decent first year healer. It doesn't have to be a super high appeal card, but just something that will allow you to keep your stamina in the green. Like, even if this Yohane was limit break 0, it would still be good enough because I have 2 scorers that will score very well without you know, their tap actives going off. But again, the most important card for this particular song is going to be your healer. So make sure, if possible, have a strong first year healer. If you don't have one, I would say skip the song. You know, skip trying to S rank the song on advanced until you're able to grab one. With that, we're done with To Be Yourself. A little under 12 million, so we passed that pretty comfortably. And I would like to think that most of that is due to actually having a card that will keep our stamina in the green. So now, we'll move over to the alt account, where things will look the JP account, sorry, where things will look pretty dang similar to this. And here we are on the JP account. We just finished playing Break the System. Now we're on to Be Yourself. On the JP account, it is kind of hard to build for this particular song. I do have a couple of good scorers, but they're not my best scorers. But what I am going to do is, because the song is directed towards first years, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 1 scorer in First Fest Kanon. Then I'm going to put probably one of the better gacha cool attribute URs in Steam Made in Maru. And for my healer, I'm going to run Twilight Demon Yoha. Twilight Demon Yoha, I actually have all the way up to Limit Break 4 on this account. This card chased me everywhere. So did Steam Made in Maru, and Blue Amor Umi, and Kakuririn, and Signorina. But that's beside the point. What we're also going to do here is we are going to make ourselves, just in case, we are going to make ourselves basically a full, if we can, a full Niji backline over here, so that we're able to take advantage of the skill activation rate for the 3rd and 5th ACs. You know, needing a whole bunch of, you know, stamina and stuff like that, it does make it makes this particular appeal chance kind of difficult, you know, especially on my particular account, which doesn't have a ton of great Niji options. Like, basically all of my best options are from not Niji. Either that, or if they are Niji cards, they're healers. Like this poorly incited First Fez Arena. So for now, I'm just gonna kind of keep here with Signal Arena at max limit break, and then a Uma Event I, which is at limit break 3, and then a Spotlight Lady Debut Kasumi. Now, again, much like on Break the System, this particular strategy is not designed to be particularly good scoring wise. It's only designed to make sure I burst myself up to an appropriate amount of stamina and then switch back to my main strategy. And as always, for the basically every song except for Love Again, we're going to be auto playing a lot of these with guests. Again, if spoiler alert, I made a boo boo on First Love Again, my first run on it. So when that video comes out, be prepared to laugh at me. Now, realistically, I shouldn't be too concerned, right? Because I do have 2 first years in here. The skill activation bonuses or debuff and stuff like that normally shouldn't be too terrible. Especially using a voltage type card in First Fest Kanon, it would be a lot harder if you happen to be using some of like a card with a tap active that gives an appeal buff versus the voltage boost, because it does take away a lot of your additional scoring potential. Luckily because we have this Twilight Demon Yoha, she's actually keeping us pretty healthy here. So we actually didn't even need that separate side strat. But I would suggest if you do happen to have either Niji healers are preferable. It doesn't matter if they're guard type or SK type. Like if you happen to have a New World Setsuna or something, even though she loses out on the overall song gimmick debuff of a 50% decrease in her skill activation rate for not being a first year, she does get some of it back, being a Niji card. So she should still help you as far as maintaining either above 80 or above 70% stamina. If you only happen to have one good either shielder or healer first year card, you can go either one of 2 ways because of the damage. Either build up your stamina pool with one strategy and then use the other strategy for appeal buffing, or the other strategy is basically just ignore your stamina pool and run a triple necklace strategy, because 826 damage per note is still kind of a lot. So you do want to give yourself either a big enough stamina pool or enough damage block so that whoever your best first year healer is, they're still able to basically keep you above those 2 thresholds of their 2 appeal chances. And with that, that concludes To Be Yourself. Thank you everybody for watching. Take it easy, be nice to each other, and I'll see you all next time.